Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the study plan for CA Foundation September 2024. So let's get right into it. This video consists of three parts. Part number one is the truth. Part number two is I'll give you some ground rules. And part number three, I'll also give you what is the plan of action that you can do right after this video. Okay, so let's get right into part number one. The first thing is the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that you still have hope. Okay, no matter where you are in your preparation, whether you have already finished classes and you have already done one round of self preparation, or you have just finished classes and you have not even touched the CA material, you still have hope. You can still change your fate in this exam. So we still have about 20-25 days to the exam, and if you give your best for the next 20 days or 25 days or whatever the number of days you have since you watched this video, I am very sure that you can change your fate. So that is something that I want to clear right off the bat. And please understand that things have not gone out of your hands. So don't come into this defeatist mindset that, okay, now I'm throwing my hands up in the air and I'm already looking forward for, let's say, January attempt or anything like that. No matter what you think, where your preparation is, you still have hope. That's exactly what I want you to have your mind at. And with that said, I'll just go to the next part of this video. So the next part of this video is I'll give you some ground rules. So what are the ground rules? So the first thing that you need to understand is no more classes. You should stop going to classes. It doesn't matter whether you are in regular classes or you are going to rapid revision classes. No more classes. I understand you love your faculty. Your faculty might be a great star faculty in the country. That's all fine. That's all good. Now we just have 25 days to the exam, and you need in this time a lot of writing practice. Now some of you might be thinking that I'm not so sure about concepts. I don't have conceptual clarity, so I want to go to rapid revision classes, which is absolutely, I will say, you are in an illusion. The problem is you think you lack conceptual clarity, but the reality is you lack practice, you lack writing practice. So another thing that I want to clarify here is nothing beats self preparation. Yes, classes are absolutely necessary. Initially you need the concepts to be clarified by some real expert. I'm not denying that, but 20 days before the exam, I would say even 1 month before the exam, stop going to classes, especially rapid revision classes. You don't need those. Okay, so directly open CA material and start having as much writing practice and reading practice as possible. I'll explain the procedure of exactly how to do the writing practice and reading practice in the third part. So this is the second part, ground rules. So first thing is no more classes. That includes regular class and rapid revision class. So some of you might be in regular class, which might have started way back in, let's say, April or May. And we all know how coaching centers run. They plan for one date and it almost always overruns the initially planned schedule. So some of you might be still having some pending topics that which is yet to be covered by them, and you might also think that those chapters might be so important also. It might give you an illusion. I'm saying don't, because no matter how slowly they would have taught in your coaching center, I think definitely they would have finished 80% of the portions. So I think that is more than enough for us to crack this exam. So understand, no more classes. And the second thing is nothing beats self preparation. So the next ground rule that I have to emphasize here is only ICI materials. Again, your academy might be so popular, your faculty might be so popular, and they might have given you great handwritten notes or like bullet point notes and everything. And it might be great. Absolutely, I'm not underestimating or undermining the greatness of the material. But again, nothing beats the CA module, because it's largely a psychological thing. Okay, so you have to get exposed to the CA materials font, because CA material has a certain typeset, it has a certain layout. So you need to get exposed more and more to that font, that particular layout, that particular font size. The more you get exposed to CA Institute study material, the less you start feeling afraid about it. So that is one more thing that you have to keep in mind. Now, let's say you are fully studying from your own faculty's material, which the faculty had said it's almost CA material only, it's just copy paste. And they will say that I also have given some additional questions. So now you are so accustomed to that material, and your brain is so visually accustomed to that type of material, typeset and everything. Now, suddenly, let's say 2 days before the exam, you had the curiosity to open CA Institute study material, and you open CA Institute study material, and everything looks new. Even the same topic which you had studied in your faculty study material, they might start appearing new. So now you kind of start to get that sense of panic that you have not studied anything at all. It will give you that feeling. So that's why I'm saying keep away all the private authors materials. For CA Foundation, the ICI module is more than good. So you can definitely pick that only. And whatever the next upcoming strategies that I'm going to say, you follow only that with respect to ICA materials. So that's the second ground rules, only ICA module, only ICA materials. Okay, next is we are going to do 4 rounds of revision. Now you may be wondering that, yes, we hardly have 25 days for the exam. And how do you think 4 rounds of revision is possible? I'll show you how we can sort of squeeze everything inside the next 20-25 days and try to work a very, very actionable plan. So 4 rounds of revision. So 4 rounds of revision, let me clarify that, is 3 rounds before 10th of September, and 1 round obviously before the exam, just before the exam. So including all that, you get 4 rounds of revision. So you have the first exam on 13th of September. So all of you will definitely be reading only accounts on 11th and 12th. So until 10th of September, you have time to do all 4 papers. So before that, we make sure that we do 3 rounds of revision before 10th of September, whenever you see this video and you start your preparation. So I hope that's clear. And 1 round before the exam is obvious. I think everyone will do that. Everyone knows that. Now let me get into the third part of the video, which is the core part of the video, which is plan of action. Basically, this part says that what you can do right after this video, watching this video, what you can do right after watching this video. Okay, right. So what exactly you should do, I'll just numerize it. First thing is you determine the maximum number of hours you have. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So let's say today is I'm recording this on 17th of August 2024. Most likely you will be seeing this on the same day, I hope, or let's say the next day, which is 18th of August, and the exam is on 13th of September. But anyway, 11th and 12th, I'm taking it out of the count, because 11th and 12th we use it only for accounting. So let's say until 10th of September, we have got a proper preparation phase. So that has how many days? That has 24 days. Okay, now you have 24 days, and now we are at the stage where we cannot have any normal loss, anything. Every day has to be a hit day. Okay, so every day you have to be at your maximum productivity possible. So Now you assign a realistic number. Okay, so now you have determined the number of hours, which is number of days until 10th of September multiplied by hours per day. Now this hours per day, you have to assign a realistic number, but it is also slightly beyond your reach. So what do I mean by that? So realistic number is, let's say 12 is not realistic number, 13 hours per day is not realistic number. So let's keep it, let's say whatever number which you don't have much of resistance. Okay, so easily I will do. So that number could be, let's say 7 hours or 8 hours. So I'll keep it like 8.5 hours. Now you stretch it by a slight margin, let's say half an hour. You just slightly go out of your comfort zone. So don't say that I can do a realistic number of 8. Now I'll plan like 12 hours per day. Don't plan like that, because I said we don't have any time for recovery in between. So every day has to be, there has to be some considerable progress every day. So all 24 days you should be studying. So now, so that's why I said hours per day should be a realistic number, but slightly stretch it a bit. So I'm going with like 9 hours per day. Let's say you have 8.5 hours of realistic capacity. You exceed it by 30 minutes per day. So 9 hours per day. So now your maximum available hours for the exam is roughly 216 hours. So let's anywhere give and take 10 hours on this side and that side. So it can be anywhere between 205 to 225 hours. So now you pick a number which you try to hit over the next 24 days. So let's say you have chosen to be a bit optimistic. Let's choose that. Now the total number of hours you have until the exam is 225 hours. Now what does this mean? This means that you have to realize you don't have infinite amount of time. Your time is kind of in a bracket now. Your available hours is kind of in a box now. So let's imagine this is entire 225 hours that you have until the exam. So now the second thing is, the next question is how to make the most out of whatever I have, the maximum in that boundary. How can I squeeze as many topics as possible? So the second thing is, take the ICI material, go to that table of contents, and 80% of the portions. So 80% of the total portions that are there for this exam, you pick your 80%. You pick your 80%. Now, how do you pick this 80%? So you refer to the section wise weightage that CA Institute has given. So in case you don't know, there is a document that you can just Google it, section wise weightage for CA Foundation. You will get the ICA link. You can download the document. So that has like roughly for each section, how much marks, how many marks they will ask. So the minimum range to maximum possibility, it's given section wise. So use that also as a side reference. So based on that, you select 80% of portion. So now you cannot think that, okay, I will study entire 100%. No, you don't do that. So what we are going to do, I said 4 rounds of revision. 4 rounds of revision we do only for the 80% of the portion. Okay, so now how do we plan this revision phase? Okay, so that's the next point that I'm going to talk about. But before that, let me quickly clarify this one more time. Take the ICA material, go to the table of contents and select your own 80% of the portion. So I naturally don't give in my videos what type of topics you should pick and you should ignore, which nobody can tell and nobody should tell. So unless one is really an expert in exam papers and all that, I don't think anybody should comment on that. So you take a calculated guess with the help of the section wise weightage which is available on the internet. You take that and you pick your 80%. Then take a piece of paper and write all the chapters that you are going to study subject wise. So let's say you have accounting. So accounting, you have topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5. You write like this. Okay, so this should be your, again, topics to cover. So you do like this for all 4 papers. So accounts done. So you do the same thing for law. you do the same thing for QA and economics. Okay, so after you have written this, this is the second point. You decide which topic, decide and note down the topics you selected to study, and you are decided to skip. Okay, so this is the second thing that you have to do, but with the help of section wise weightage from the ICI. Okay, so this is step number 2. Now let's go to step number 3. The step number 3 is, after you have decided all the topics subject wise, then you give a total number, right? A total number of hours for that topic in total. Okay, for 3 rounds of revision, not just for 1 round of revision, for 3 rounds of revision. I'll give you how to scientifically kind of how to do it in a reasonable way. Okay, so let's say you have a topic that has 15 illustrations in study material, and the book back questions have, like, let's say 8 problems. All are kind of big problems. Now you have 23 problems in total to write and practice and solve and practice. Now, what should I tell you? You have to allocate, like, each problem. Let's say for the first time you do, let's say you are going to take half an hour for it, or let's say you are going to take 20 minutes for it. So 20 minutes for each problem. And some problems might take you like 17-16 minutes, you will finish, and some problems it might take 25-26 minutes. It will all average out. Okay, so just don't try to get that accurate number. Just give a very realistic number again, a sweet spot number. So I have kept like 20 minutes per problem. So if you have to do all the 23 problems, it might take 460 minutes. So if you divide it by 60, you will get roughly 7 to 8 hours. Now I'll suggest for round 1, it should take you 8 hours. And round 2, it should take you, let's say, 70% of that number or 80% of that number. And round 3, it should take again 60% or 70% of what it took you for round 1. So in round 2, let's say it's going to take let's say you have 80% learning curve, so let's take 80% of that, and for round 3 you take 80% of round 2. So roughly it's going to take 19 hours for this particular chapter. So I'm giving you, please understand that a particular random topic which might have 15 big problems and illustration problems and 8 problems book back question. So you, in the first round, you are not going to skip any problem. Okay, every question you have to be updated about every question. Doesn't matter, don't worry about where you stand with respect to concept. I am saying at least do a fair copy of it. Just look at the question and write it on the paper. The more you do, more number of questions you do. At first question you might be clueless, at second question you might slowly start to find some pattern. Our human brain is wonderful pattern recognition machine. So let's say by 4th or 5th problem you would be almost an expert in that topic. So you do this for all the 23 problems. See the problem first time and do it by your own hand. And one more thing I'll say, don't type it on laptop or anything. Practice it by longhand. Use a pen and paper and practice it. Also, don't write it on tablet or pen tab or anything like that. Use your own hand and own pen and paper and practice it. Just have a complete writing practice. So the more writing practice you have, the problem that you are thinking right now that I need more conceptual clarity, you will solve it for yourself. Okay, so that is one thing I want to emphasize. Now you understand how I'm dividing the hours here. So the number that you have here, let's say 20 hours, let me round it up to 20 hours. This is for all 3 rounds. Okay, now let's say if it is a chapter like BRS, or if it is a chapter like rectification of errors, for the first round you should not take more than 5 to 6 hours. Okay, you should not take more than 5 to 6 hours. So you may think that 5 hours might sound very less, but let me tell you, 5 hours is a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Okay, So like this you do for all the topics that you have selected, which is 80% of the overall subject that you have. Now for theory paper, I'll give you another thumb rule. Let's say a chapter has 20 pages. So per page, let's say by chapter, by theory, we have only two, which is law and economics. So let's say a chapter has, or a unit has 20 pages. So per page, you should not take more than 5 minutes. 4 minutes is average. Let me give you an extra 1 minute per paper. Okay. So per page. So this chapter should not take more than 100 minutes for you to read once. Again, don't do research, don't do dig deep into it. Like don't get into like, okay, now I want to search for this case law, let me go to the internet. Don't disrupt your study process. If you have started with the topic, stick with the topic, read it like a magazine, and have the first round. You will have a lot of open questions, you will have a lot of unanswered questions. Be okay with it. Be okay with it. You come round 2, you will get a bit more clarity. You do round 3, you get a bit more clarity. So again, I also ask you to, when you read law, do a lot of writing practice. At least write the keywords of every question. The track record says that last 2 attempts, especially, students who fail basically CA foundation fail in law. So they do accounts quite well. Maths and economics, again, they don't seem to have a problem. I don't see that way. They flunk in law. I'm saying it's purely because of the lack of writing practice. So every question, don't get lazy. Don't think that at the exam hall you will, write it off your mind, out of your mind. You will not be able to. You may be able to write, but again, you won't be able to convert that into effective marks. So I'm saying read ICI material as many times as possible, at least 3 times as per this video. Okay, so for the first round, it might take 100 minutes for you. When you do the second round, let's keep like 70 percentage. So 70 minutes, whatever the chapter that took you 1 hour and 40 minutes, now it's going to take you only 1 hour and 10 minutes. And third round, again, let's keep it like another 70 percentage of it. The third time you read, you finish the chapter in 50 minutes of time. So again, this is how you do theory papers as well. Okay, so this is the third step, which is allocate a rough estimate of time for 3 rounds of revision. So let's go on to the last and most important part of this video, which is spaced repetition system, which basically tells how you should plan your 3 rounds of revision. Should you do back to back, or should you do once in 10 days? How are we going to do the 3 rounds of revision? So I'll give you a simple idea. Spaced repetition system basically works that you study a topic today and you let it soak in your brain for 2 to 3 days. Then you open that topic again. Okay. Now, usually I recommend 5 rounds of spaced repetition system, but we don't again have the luxury to do 5 rounds of revision. So to make it accommodated for 3 rounds of revision, how are we going to plan? So the first thing that you have to do is, let's say you study a topic today, you let it be there for 3 days. You don't go back to that topic over the next 3 days. So now understand, today is August 17th, 2024. Today, let's say you studied like 4 chapters, 4 topics. Let's say you studied BRS and you also studied admission of a partner in accounts. And let's say in law, you studied Contracts Act, Unit 1 to Unit 4. And in maths, let's say you did correlation and regression. And you also did a bit of mathematics of finance. Okay. So these are the topics that you studied today. Okay. Let's say you did your 9 hours and you studied these many topics. Now, let's say this is your round 1 for all the topics. Okay. Now you wait here for 3 days. So today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. So this plus 3 days. So when 20th of August comes, you have to reopen these topics and do it the second round of revision. So on this day, you have to allocate, let's say, see, let's say today you are starting, today you won't have anything to revise. So for 17th of August 2024, you will have 9 hours of 9 hours fully to read everything for the first time. But next day, again 18th and 19th, also you will have 9 hours and 9 hours to do full studies. Okay. But when 20th of August comes, you will start to have your revision schedule also into your daily schedule. So you cannot study fresh papers, fresh topics all 9 hours. So you can study only that for 6 hours and use this 3 hours for revising whatever you studied on 17th of August. So this thing, it goes pretty much like a rolling plan. So on 20th of August, you will open. So you also have to maintain a diary of a study log, what all day wise you have to maintain, what all you have studied here. And so 20th of August comes, you map it against the portions that you studied on 17th of August, and you read them for 3 hours. Okay. So you might not be able to accommodate entirely for 3 hours all these papers, all these topics into 3 hours. Take your time. Let's say you studied, okay, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 topics you have studied on 17th of August. When you come to 20th of August, in that 3 hours, maybe you would be able to revise 3 topics or 4 topics. That is okay. That is okay. The next day comes 21st August. You will be having some carryover from 17th of August, and then whatever you also studied in 18th of August, you will study in that day. So every day you take a thumb rule again, 2:1. New papers, new topics you will study for 6 hours, and then you will reopen the topics which you studied 3 days ago for 3 hours. Okay. So this is one way of doing. Now this is for round 2. But I'm also saying we have to do 3 rounds. So this same topic which you studied round 1 on 17th of August, the round 2 will get roughly a due date on 20th of August. The round 3, I would say you keep it 5 days after round 2. So which means when 25th of August comes, you should know that the round 3 for these topics is coming for due. So like this, if you keep on revising with enough gap in between, you will overcome this memory issue. Nobody has poor memory. You especially do not have poor memory. CA students are being specifically tested on memory. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the reality is that only. So how you can do is, it's by doing re-exposure to the same portion with increasing gaps in between. So a lot of students do this problem of reading only one time the topic, and they think that they will be able to recall everything at the exam hall, which is again a very, very, very not so healthy practice. So that's something I want you to keep in mind. And yeah, one more thing which I haven't initially planned, which is now coming to my mind. Yes, definitely write MTPs 2 times, two MTPs, and also definitely don't skip RTP. So I would say RTP, at least read RTP at least 3 times. MTP, both the question papers. Whether you have the courage to write it like a test itself, that is up to you. Or if you say that, no, I haven't studied anything, I don't even have the courage to face MTP, then I would say at least just download the question paper and go over the question paper. Just go through the question paper. At least blindly read the question paper for 2 to 3 times. You might not need to write it as a test as such, but at least know with what type of questions are being asked. So that way, at least you know, okay, which type of chapters and which type of problem types you should specifically focus on. So It's okay if you write it like a proper test. You will also get to know a lot of insights on time management and all that. But it's okay, you have so much resistance, I won't blame you for that. You can take it, still take it easy, but at least download the MTP and go through that questions at least. So I think I'll wrap it up here. Let me know in the comment section below if you still have some unanswered questions. I'll be happy to help, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.